Hard Rockology Show back in with you, Chris, Matt, and Jason. Nothing's good enough. That's the latest from Eden Burning. The album's called Banged Up and Dirty. And let's welcome to the show from the band, Phil Salazar, Doug Merritt, and Joseph Lamanna. Guys, welcome to the Hard Rockology Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So, guys, I can't tell you how much I like the song that we just played and the video that goes with it, and you really can't go wrong with a hot chick and a flying V and some killer riffs. So tell us a little bit about that video and the song and the new record.
Nothing's Good Enough from Banged Up and Dirty. We were looking for a concept for that song for a while, and we thought it was time to do a follow-up to Smokin' Love, which was from a movie called Smokin' Love. And I wanted about a 4-minute concept video that had a little bit of drama going on, hence the blonde. And we had an actress hired for the video. We did most of it in Austin. And actually the stage scenes were done inside of Sam Ash music stores. It's not in a venue, which a lot of people had the illusion it was at a concert hall, but it wasn't. It was actually done inside of a music store. So we put that out about, 2 months ago?
Oh, yeah, about 2 months ago.
Yeah, and Versailles Records and Delinquent Records got really interested, and Delinquent actually picked up Nothing's Good Enough for a compilation they just put out that's going to be out worldwide called Girls, Fire, and Hairspray. So we're excited about that.
So tell us a little bit about who you have in the band right now. You just got a new guitar player, right?
Joseph Lamanna, yeah, he's right here.
Yep.
Joseph is a big Zach fan. He's heavily influenced by that kind of stuff. So we were a trio for quite a while, but I'll let him tell you a little bit about that one.
Yeah, they told me that they were looking for another guitar player, and I love the songs, I love the style of the music, and it fits in with my style very well. I'm heavily influenced by the Ozzy Osbourne guitarist, Zach Wild in particular, and yeah.
He's a little shy, by the way.
He
smokes on guitar. I promise you, he's a smoking guitar player, man.
Yeah.
He sounds very shy, but I mean, did you have to go through an audition with these guys, or did it just work out? Go, this is the guy we want right off the bat.
Absolutely, he's not as outgoing as I am. He's kind of cute, but he can rock. But we decided to go from a trio to a 4-piece again because we were always a 4-piece. It's just that I had stripped it down to 3 guys for about a year and a half. And it was a lot for me to front the band and sing and do solos and play rhythm guitar and talk and be the Paul Stanley of the band. So I decided, I told Doug, let's go ahead and seek out this 4th guitar player again. Let's just make it happen. That 2-guitar attack is, I think, crucial to the sound,
Yeah, exactly. I was going to ask you, but you already answered the question for me. So on the last record, Banged Up and Dirty, you play all the leads and everything on it, so now with the new guitar player, it's going to switch off and give you some more freedom to do other things, right?
Well, actually, yes, it will. Now, on Banged Up and Dirty, there was actually another guy playing lead at the time named Matt Steele, who was no longer with the band. He went into Coverville, and that's cool, He's making money, and he's doing well. But because of that decision, we ended up being a trio for quite a while, and we just continued on. We did a lot of shows last year. We opened up for a lot of national bands. We did South Texas Rock Fest. We opened up for Saxon. We did Lita Ford. I mean, what else did we do, Doug?
Wait a second. You guys did Lita Ford? What was that like?
Not dead, literally, but we were on a bill with her.
Oh, okay.
Quiet Light was on the show. God, we've done a lot of national acts. Steven Adler, we've opened up for him, 3 or 4 times already. So even as a trio, it didn't stop the burning. We just kept going on and just rocking as much as we could, and all the while being hopeful for that guitar player. And I think we finally found the guy because he's working out great. This guy knows the entire Banged Up and Dirty repertoire.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was blown away when he went to my place the other day and we sat down and he just nailed everything. So I'm excited. We're back to where we need to be.
Well, that was one of the things I first noticed when I actually heard the album was there's some phenomenal guitar playing and some soloing on there, as well as basically the way the songs are constructed. You have a lot of that I guess I'll say from the 80s, a lot of that party-type music, but then it's heavily layered with some complicated guitar playing and stuff like that as well. So was that what you were looking for when you put that album together?
Yeah, that is our influence. The Eden Burning sound is I love that arena rock sound, and Doug Merritt here specifically, he's really into that big, Mötley sound and Humble Pie and just those big sing-along choruses that we all grew up on. I don't hear that too much these days,
Well, that being said, and congratulations being number 1 on Reverb Nation on San Antonio, Texas. So that's got to be a huge accomplishment. So apparently whatever it is that you guys are doing,
yes.
you guys are doing something right, and the fans over there in Texas are really loving what they're hearing. So what's the response, I guess, in San Antonio, Texas, and Texas in general? What's the music scene like in Texas right now?
Basically, in San Antonio, it's a mixture of metal. It's mostly metal here, but in Austin, it's wide open for rock, metal, everything. Dallas, Fort Worth, those areas are pretty much about the same. Houston has a pretty good rock scene, from what I understand as well. But basically, where we're at, it's mostly metal, which is fine. You know, we've done more metal shows than rock shows. Just being a rock band from a town that really only has mostly a metal scene, we're okay with that.
You know, it's funny, but you know, we'll do shows in San Antonio, and the thing that happens after gigs is people automatically, for some reason, think we're from California. I don't know why that is. That's happened more than once, right?
Yeah.
You know, hey, what city are you guys from? Well, we're from San Antonio. But there's a lot of really good, you know, kick-butt metal bands in this town. There really are. There's a lot of double shredding guitar attack going on here. It's a really good, thriving scene for that. We just happen to be the rock band on the scene. And there's some bands here that have moved up. The Heroin, if you're familiar with that name, they're actually really, I think they just got signed to EMI, but they're from San Antonio as well. Other popular bands, Girl in the Coma, you know, they've been all over the place. I think they just got back from Europe, as a matter of fact. And Cult to Follow, people like that. These are all people that are in the same age group, the same genre as us, and they're doing quite well. So we're hoping to follow right along.
Well, that being said, I mean, you just mentioned a couple of these bands playing in Europe and stuff. Do you guys have plans to tour outside of Texas, maybe a little bit of the West Coast, East Coast, or are you guys planning on touring out of the country at all? Are you guys any plans like that lined up?
We're planning to go back towards California, October, November, hopefully. Last time that didn't happen 3 months ago was mainly financial reasons. As you know, it takes money to get out there on the road, and it's not always easy. So we're saving up, and we're going to do this right this next round. I've already told Maria Purdue at the Rainbow, you know, we'll be back. Let's do some shows, and she's ready to book us out that way. We'll probably roll through New Mexico and Phoenix, and then through California and back. Nancy Chandler from Delinquent Records, she's the CEO for that label. I've shown an interest with her that we want to head to Europe. It's been something we've been planning on for a while. Will it happen? I think with her help it will. She's taken a very big interest in the band, and I'm hoping that it's going to open some doors.
Well, that being said, I mean, you guys released your first album, a couple years ago, a year and a half ago. I know you have a new album, hopefully coming up in the not-too-distant future. How's that coming along? Are you guys planning on bringing in some... I mean, I'm not sure exactly how you guys did the first album. Was it self-produced or what?
Yeah, because I mean, I read some reviews online, and a lot of people were complaining somewhat about maybe the sound of the drums somewhat. But I mean, did you guys self-produce this record, or do you have, or how did that come about?
I'm going to let Doug answer that one.
Well, like most bands, it was produced actually on a poor man's budget. We really didn't have any money to do it, and the guitar player we had in the band at the time had a home studio. And he had played us some demos of his work, so we were like, okay, you know, as long as we get the sound we were looking for, you know, that was important. So, in the end, we really didn't get the sound we wanted, but the music was still there. You know, if you saw it live, you'd hear what was coming across from the CD. So, yeah, we've kind of been slagged for the production, but the songs really stand up well.
Yeah, I will say this. I think the production is probably the only thing that hindered the album, but the energy is definitely there.
Plus the songs are there, too.
Yeah, the songs are there as well, too. And it's kind of like this is a compliment coming back to you because there's a lot of bands that put out something they have the production's maybe not what they're looking for, and it really hinders them. But I don't think it really hindered you guys too much because I'm feeling a lot of live energy, and that's one of the things my brother and myself notice and we listen to when we're listening to new music is the energy there behind the music, and the energy is definitely there with this particular album. So, I mean, whatever you guys are doing, I can only imagine what you guys are like.
What it'll sound like in a different studio with a little bit more money behind it.
No, I mean, our live sound is incredible, and with me joining the band, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to bring in a lot of more blazing guitar solos to definitely come in the next album.
Well, I think what he's trying to say is, you know, when he's been rehearsing with us, we haven't changed too much of anything on the original concept of what you're hearing. He's a little bit more of the Zakk Wylde-ish type of guitar player, which I wanted a little bit of flash in the band for this next round. But certain key solos, you know, like the beginning of Spider Kiss has a certain flair to the solo that I wanted to keep. You know, certain certain influences with like the drinking song or the intros to If You Want Me. Those are all, I guess, like Ace Frehley when he does certain Kiss songs. There's certain ways he just
very similar to
you know
that,
what I mean?
yeah.
Their signature to the song is what I'm saying. So yeah, like Doug said, it was done on a poor man's budget. We did what we could with what we could. You know, like an artist works with what they have, basically.
But it's
you know,
but it still sounds really good, though. It still sounds really good. You know, I mean, I was like I was saying, I was just reading some of the reviews, and I was like, going, okay, I wonder what this is really going to sound like. I put it on. It's got the great guitar solos. The songs are great, and you get used to the sound right off the bat. You feel like you're at a live concert almost. That's what it sounds like to me, and I really enjoyed listening to it.
Well, you know, I've always come from the school of make no apologies. You know, I put it out there. It is what it is. It's what I'm about. It's what we're about. And, you know, despite the production, maybe with some downloads and some future, you know, fans that we're gaining, our downloads are increasing on iTunes. I've noticed that. People are buying our stuff more. When we did Starry Eyes, I don't know if you guys have heard that version yet. But
yeah, I was just going to ask you guys about that one. Why that Mötley Crüe song out of all of them?
Yeah, we're getting ahead of you again, huh?
just a little bit ahead of me, because I was like going to ask you, you're a big Mötley Crüe fan and everything, so I'm going, why did they pick Starry Eyes off the first record? What's up with that song? So what's the story behind that?
When we did Starry Eyes, that came about because we got this offer from Versailles Records to do a tribute called Down at the Whiskey. And that's coming out, Doug, when was it?
August.
Yeah, it's coming out in August.
Hopefully in August.
It's been on the back burner for a year, but these guys have, you know, people like John Corabi on it. They got some ex-people from, you know, various bands. Somebody, Megadeth, is going to be on this thing doing a version of it. Faster Pussycats on the album doing a certain track, and we decided to do Starry Eyes because Too Fast for Love, when I was growing up, I mean, that album killed, you know, and that was always my favorite song. And it's not a song that's covered very much, so we decided to do that one, and it's actually doing phenomenal. As we're hoping it's going to move us to the next level when this thing comes out, you know.
That album definitely was groundbreaking, the first Mötley Crüe record, so it was pretty interesting that you covered that song.
But if you remember that album, you know, when you flipped it over, you saw those guys there in those outfits. It was like, what is this, man? You know?
It was like you never saw anything like it. Never saw anything like that in 1981. It was like, hey, what is this?
The only thing that compares otherwise to that cover is the front of Kiss Destroyer, which blew me away when I first saw that, you know. And yeah, that just stuff that's just in my mind forever and ever, and it's what I'm about. So
speaking of Kiss, you're a big Kiss fan, right?
Huge Kiss fan.
So that was like one of the bands you grew up on, correct?
Yes, I've seen Kiss numerous times through my life.
So what do you think about Kiss right now? Not having all the original members, does it really even matter? I mean, I'm just asking as for a fan point of view. I mean, or do you really need all original members to make it work?
Well, I'm more about the songs and what they're about. You know, who's playing the characters. You know, Tommy Bayer's an excellent Ace, man. He plays it, I think, even better than Ace himself sometimes. You know, and I've seen all the versions.
Going through the motions.
They're going through the motions, yeah. But you know, should they retire at this point? I don't know, man. I say they should stop and go out with a bang. I don't think they should keep pushing it. But you know, hey, man, I love them for whatever they do. You know, I mean, my first guitar was a Hondo for $50 at JCPenney's when I saw Kiss on Love Gun. You know, and me and my brother blew it up with firecrackers because that's what Ace really did, you know.
And then you didn't have a guitar to play anymore.
Yeah, and the butt whooping I got from my grandparents, yeah, I still remember that too. But, you know, it's what they did. It was about the theatrics too, you know. So, yeah, I've been a lifelong Kiss fan in every aspect.
I mean, looking at your resume and some of the bands that you guys have played with, I mean, I know you played with Dokken, you played with Airborne, you played with UFO, Michael Shankner, Quiet Riot, mentioned Lita Ford.
Tesla.
Is there any memorable moments for you as a band? Because opening up for any one of those bands has got to be just an experience.
You got to get tons of advice or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, did you have any stories to tell or anything you want to pass along? I mean, looking at your resume and who you guys have played with, I mean, that's a who's who coming out of the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s. So,
Dokken was a good show. We opened up for them a couple of years back, and we got out there early. It was like 6 o'clock when we got to the venue, and I hadn't seen the front of the venue yet. And we rolled in kind of late. And when we walked in there, and I peeked behind the curtain, it was like standing room only, all the way to the back of this venue. There was, 3,000 people? I don't know, man, but you could not move in this building. And when we went out there, that electricity, I was like, wow, this was awesome, man. I mean, I didn't run into the guys in Dokken. I think Doug here was talking to Mick Brown out back for a while, but
for a few minutes.
Yeah, I didn't run into Don Dokken. I don't think Doug did either, but he had a good conversation with Mick Brown. I don't know. What do you think, Doug?
They had really tight security, you know, for some reason. we couldn't. I tried to talk to the bass player, I think it was, and the security was like, "No, you can't go over there and harass him." I'm like, "I just want to say hello." So.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of times when you're the opening band, you don't always get to meet these bands, you know?
Yeah, I was just going to mention that, too. I mean, just because you're on the bill doesn't mean you actually get to hang out with them.
No, we've done shows with, like, L.A. Guns and the Bullet Boys where we had, like, a backstage buffet, and they weren't interested in eating any of the food. They just wanted to really drink the liquor.
Yeah, so we ate all the food.
Yeah,
That sounds like L.A. Guns and the Bullet Boys. I mean, like I said, I mean, we see a lot of these bands out here and the stories that we could tell you as well, too, so... Yeah, I mean, it basically across the board sometimes, and I think sometimes, especially, you know, everybody's trying to make a living and stuff like that. So, I mean, hey, you got to open up for these guys and play with these guys, so the opportunity's there, and you know, it is what it is. I mean, I'd be envious enough to play with UFO and Shankner. Those are two of our favorite bands right here. So, I got to ask you, what was it like playing with both of those guys?
We did like a festival with them in a place called Bernie.
Okay.
And they were really good. They did like long versions of some of the songs. That was the only thing that, like, they did a 30-minute version of Rock Bottom and like a 15-minute version of Doctor Doctor. But other than that, they nailed it. They were spot on.
And we did the
and Shanker last year. We did a show with Shanker.
Yeah, South Texas Rock Fest.
And I understand he's completely sober, and the guy was just mind blowing, playing really good, band and everything. He only got a 25-minute set, though. That was the problem.
Oh man, that's a crime right in and of itself, man. You got a rock festival and you give him 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, as soon as you hit the stage, you're getting off, right?
Well, yeah, it was two big stages at Sunken Gardens, and we were across the venue from the big stage. So there was two big stages there, and as soon as we were done, I mean, I'm talking like 10 seconds after we were done, it was perfectly timed. We heard the intro to Love Drive, and that's when Schenker came on, which was just, I mean, that sent chills down my back when I heard that, man. You know, but damn, he was good.
He was on fire.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah, he still got it, man.
So, Phil, if I can ask you a question, a personal question, I guess, what would the one song that you wish you wrote, which one would it be?
Love Gun, Kiss.
Really, out of all the great songs out there, Love Gun, Kiss.
A lot of great songs, yeah. I'm a Kissaholic, man. I've loved Kiss all my life. Dude.
we got a Kissaholic we're interviewing, Matt. Let's get right down to the bottom of it. What's the deal with The Elder? What was the deal with that album?
The Elder?
Yeah.
I don't count that as soundtrack. Yeah, it's a soundtrack, man. I don't know what they were.
A soundtrack to a movie that was never made.
So it's really not a soundtrack.
Yeah, it's an album.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I've always wondered how come they don't do The Elder live, but yeah, I think we know why.
We did a video for a movie that never came out.
Well, that's true. So, all right, that being said, Doug, what about you? If you could write a song of your choice, what song would you have chosen to written? I guess I haven't been in a...
You haven't been in an English class in a while.
Yeah, let me re-ask that again. All right, Doug. I mean,
you know, I know this may sound corny, but a rock version of a Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress. I've heard rock. I've heard a couple of rock versions of it, like kind of like punk, and it you know, that song to this day, even though it's pretty ancient in some circles, it's, you know, it's been a hit ever.
It's still a good song, though.
Yeah. All right, Joseph.
Guitar, though.
All right, Joseph. Not to leave you out, Joseph, because you're a guitar player. If you could pick a song that you wrote as a guitar player, which song would you have chosen?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question.
I would have to say, even though I'm a massive shredder and this song isn't really a shredding song, I would have to say Iron Man, Black Sabbath. It was the first song I learned on the guitar, and it set me down this path and led me to where I am right here now with Phil and Doug and Eden Burning, and oh yeah.
So you got Iron Man you learned first, and then you jumped to Smoke on the Water second?
No, I think Smoke on the Water was down the road, probably about 5 or 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stairway to Heaven, too, just bypassed it, just went right to Iron Man.
Which is something you never play in a music store, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I never heard anybody say, oh, my first song I learned how to play was Iron Man. It's always like maybe Smoke on the Water or Zeppelin or something like that.
Listen, I spend a lot of time working my livelihood is, you know, in a music store, and there's nothing worse sometimes than 13 versions of out-of-tune Metallica songs.
So which ones did they learn how to play? Which ones were they trying to play?
I hear Enter Sandman about 50 times a day.
You got to put the sign up, no Metallica.
And they're all in different keys, which is amazing.
So, guys, the new record you're working on, Buy the Ticket, Take the Ride, is coming out later in the year, right?
Buy the Ticket, Take the Ride, yeah. And that's actually one of my favorite quotes from Hunter S. Thompson, which I just like the way that sounds, man, you know, and I think that's we're going to stick with it, you know, Buy the Ticket, Take the Ride. And I think the concept for the cover, we're looking at doing this concept with this really evil-looking clown kind of handing you a ticket, you know, and there's this really screwed up looking carnival behind you.
Great. Creepy-looking clowns on the cover, Matt. I don't think I'm going to be able to look at it and listen to the record at the same time. Thanks a lot, Phil.
It'll be like the second coming of Dangerous Toys.
I tried to ruin it for you, but
yeah, I still freak out over Pennywise from It.
Are you afraid of clowns?
Just kind of creepy, you know. I mean, you see a clown, you get creeped out all of a sudden. But you know what? I will say this: if it's on an album cover, it's probably going to sell some copies, and people are going to be intrigued by it.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, the music won't change. The music will still be raw. I mean, the production will be better. That's definitely, and we're gonna get what we want this time without having to argue for what you want. You know.
Yeah.
And that's just really do it right, have it sound good, and you know, hopefully people will like it.
Yeah. See where it goes. That's all you can do, really.
So, do you guys already have all the songs written, or have you guys started production on the album, or are you guys going into the studio?
I have a home studio, and I've been tracking at home. I've been doing demos of everything, and it was just a matter of finding a guitar player to come into the mix. And we have a round of shows coming up in July, and once that's out of the way, we're going to start, you know, doing some further recording with him. Yeah, some pre-production stuff.
All right, we're looking.
But I want to get this out probably before Christmas. That's my goal.
All right, looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to that. So definitely.
And I'm also I'm finishing up a book I've been working on for 2 years called Banged Up and Dirty. But it's basically a collection of stories that I've accumulated from years of opening for national bands, and some of the stuff I've seen along the way, some good, some bad, some road stories, some horror stories. But I've got a lot of photos, a lot of journals of stuff, and it's my perspective of not somebody saying, oh, I'm in a band and I'm this is what I've seen. It's basically somebody's view of, a struggling musician out there on the road and opening for bigger bands, and seeing that it's not always that pretty sometimes, but it's a lot of stuff. It's about maybe 30 chapters in right now. I'm about to end it, and I'm going to put this out hopefully by Christmas as well. I want to do that as a package.
That's an interesting idea, interesting concept, very interesting. I mean, I'm already interested to read about it. Because you always want to know what goes on behind the scenes. People think it's just show up to a venue, play, and have a good time, but there's like tons of stuff that goes on. And
I got a lot of horror stories, man. But I don't want to give away the secrets in the book yet, But yeah, we've been through all kinds of stuff, man. There's been times when I've just said, man, screw it, is it all worth it? But yeah, in the end, it is.
Well, we got to know the important questions right now, right, Matt?
Yeah, the important questions, right?
We got to know beverages of choice.
Beverages of choice. I'll start with Doug.
Actually, Shinerbach, and I don't know why it's an import.
Shinerbach,
Isn't that the beer of Texas?
No, actually, Lone Star is, but it's pretty awful. It really is.
I know. I always see Shinerbach out here in California, and I don't really find myself reaching for it too often.
Oh man, we got a beer story about the rainbow with some drink tickets. I'll let Doug tell you in a second. But my drink of choice is Blue Moon. I'm a sucker for Blue Moon with a slice of orange. That's been my favorite.
Okay.
Foo drink, I know, but it works. I like it.
Heineken, man, straight up.
Joseph goes with the Heineken. I like that. It's the best one. Heineken.
Beer,
Blue Moon, you can only drink so.
In punch from time to time. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, we'll still go online.
Honestly, we don't. Doug can tell you this, man. We don't do well on massive alcohol. We had a club closed down here in San Antonio like 3 years ago because we did a show there and we were so blitzed.
As a cover band,
we were forced to do a cover thing on Halloween, and we were doing half originals and half cover. And we did because people knew the drinking song. They had loaded the front of the stage with whiskey shots, and we had 13, 14 of these things. And I think by the fifth song, I was already blacking out. My guitar player passed out in his bunny outfit, and yeah, it was a major mess, man.
And a wall of Jägermeister coming at you. How you gonna take that on? That's pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, even if you wanted to say no, you couldn't.
Right, but
this wall of Jägermeister was at least 7 feet tall and about 3 feet wide. I'm not kidding you.
All I remember is I was in the back of the club and I was sitting on the top of my car yelling at the owner. He kept telling us that, you get the what out of here and don't come back and blah, blah, blah. And, my guitar player at the time was in his bunny outfit, passed out on stage. So it was a great Halloween event nonetheless. And ironically, it made us more popular for some strange reason because the musicians were talking about it for weeks going, hey, man, we heard you close down this club, But I don't know.
You got fired at the same time.
Any PR is good PR, right?
Exactly. Bad PR, anything, any kind of PR like you just said is great. Okay, so where can everybody find out about Eat and Burn? Are you guys on some web pages? Where can we find your music and such?
Oh, we have the Reverb Nation page, which is our main site, Reverb Nation, or reverbnation.com/Eat and Burning.
Okay.
At Twitter, Eat and Burning on Twitter. And Facebook, of course, Eat and Burning. And, of course, if you want to buy the album, it's on iTunes. All you got to do is type in the band name, and you're going to get about 4 or 5 different releases we have on there. It's also on Amazon, Zuni, anything, social like that has a digital download these days.
All right, guys, I want to thank you for coming on to the show, and fuck.
All right, I'm going to do it. Hey, guys, I want to thank you for coming on the Hard Rockology Show. As you do each and every week, we have our guests introduce their next song, so take it away, guys.
Hey, what's going on, rockers? This is Phil Salazar of Eat and Burning.
Doug Merritt.
Joseph Lamana.
Let's do this, people, if you want me, on the Hard Rockology Show.